angels willing to hold us in their arms. When our worth of stone or ashes, and we both passed on. Let forever mean forever and carry on.
Good afternoon. It's been a pretty productive day. I'm actually like pretty happy today. Really, the reason is absolutely stupid. We got our new kitchen faucet in today, and I got it installed. And I've been looking so forward to that. Always wanted one of these faucets. It's nothing exciting. It's just one of those faucets that has the handle pulls up and out, and you can use it as a sprayer. Again, not a big deal. Absolutely stupid reason to be giddy, but it's installed. That was a little bit of a task getting that thing in there. As usual, things never quite fit the way that they're supposed to. So. But I got it in there. It's installed. It's working, and I love it. It's like really cool. It's not like an expensive $100 and some odd one. I think it was like $27 on eBay. So, but anyway, I got it in. Got that squared away. So, got that done. That was somewhat productive. Got a few other things done. Got set back a couple of steps on our printer. I'll talk about that in a second, but today, though, what I'm going to be talking about as soon as I get done with all the other goodies is exercising the main muscle, because I think it's time right now. I don't think we should be putting this off at all. We need to start exercising that main muscle. What muscle, you say? No, get your mind out of the gutter. Not that one. Our brains. And I'll explain why. And I'll explain how I think we need to exercise it here in just a little bit. So I mentioned the printer, no big deal. I'm used to printers that there's a way to hack/trick the printer into thinking that the cartridges are either full or that it just totally ignores them altogether. Well, this printer we had gotten from our landlord, it's a Kodak Office ESP 2150. Love the thing. I mean, it prints beautiful. I was printing labels today. I printed labels out for the Kratom packages, so I was working on that today. While I was doing that, it came up that I was out of ink. Now, we've got 3 sets of ink cartridges that the landlord gave us with it. None of them are full, by the way, but 3 sets that he had given us. And so I'm sitting there banging my head up against the wall, going all over from one side of the internet to the other, trying to find a way to quote-unquote crack these little chips or whatnot, and there's just no way. But what I did find for like $2.55 a piece on the interwebs, I found the little chips. So all you have to do is pull the chip out, put the new chip in, and it recognizes that cartridge, even if it's been refilled or whatever, it recognizes it as a new one. So kind of a cheap way, at least to get a cartridge refill, so to speak. So we did get a couple of those ordered because none of the color cartridges I have are showing any amount of ink in them, so nothing I can do about that. Like I said, we ordered a couple. They'll be here whenever they decide to get here. It's economy shipping, you know how that goes. But yeah, it's crazy. There is no way at all. There's no hold this button down and hit these 5 buttons, or turn it off and on while you have the cartridges out, whatever. There's no way to override that on this particular printer, and that kind of sucks. But it is what it is. I cannot be more pleased with a printer. I have never. We've used these same labels. I used them for e-juice bottles. I've used them for all kinds of stuff. I love the labels. and I needed something small enough to be able to put on each of the packages, so I went ahead and went with these labels again. And anyway, I had never been able to print the labels and get get what it is I'm printing on there centered on all the labels. It always printed off for some reason. I figured it was a cheap printer, but I've used these labels for years. I just like the size of the label. Well, anyway, yeah, this thing prints dead on every single label. Every last one prints dead on. I couldn't be any more pleased with the printer. So anyway, let me go ahead and get through. I don't think there's anything other today. Like I say, I got the faucet installed, played with it for a little bit. It's real exciting. Trying to think. I don't think there was really anything else. Let me go ahead and take care of the housework, so to speak, and then we will go from there. Let me get this window up here. Oh yeah, there is one other thing I was going to show you. That is the current status on the potato barrel bucket. So they are growing good. They are growing really good. So probably every so many days I'll take a picture, maybe a short video, and I'll keep you guys updated on the progress there. But that is the current progress of the potato barrel bucket. So figured I would show that to you. Next up, let me go ahead and show you this excitingness. So anyway, I woke up to this surprise today. Amazon affiliate is up to $33.94. So thank you very much, whoever's been purchasing through our link. Thank you. And I know Evil said he had purchased some stuff today, which won't be on there until it ships, whenever that may be. So again, thank you very much for those that use that Amazon affiliate link. You can find it in the description of the videos, or you can go to the watchmannews.com. And we have search boxes here. We also have, if you go under the store menu, if you go to the recommended, we have items here. And again, I still haven't got this updated. I really need to get in here and do that. These are all items in the recommended section, all items that we have bought and that we recommend. So, you know, if you're looking for certain types of things, especially survival, whatever, take a look through there, because I will stand behind all of these things that we have gotten. They seem to be really good. Not had any problems with any of them. So anyway, just so you know there, let me get this back up. With all the windows open, this page really slows me down. Mainly this page in particular. But anyway, again, the link for our Amazon affiliate is in the description of all the videos. We heavily appreciate it. It sure helps. If you don't shop Amazon and you would like to help out, you can either go to thewatchmannews.com/donate, or you could just go to thewatchmannews.com. Right on our homepage, there's a donate link. You click that, it will take you to our PayPal donation page. It will say Transforming Disabilities at the top. That is us, but it will say Purpose the Watchman News donation. Again, it's never required, and it's much appreciated if you do, though. So again, I want to thank everybody that's partaken in the Amazon affiliate link, and those that have used that donate link. Again, very appreciated. We haven't forgotten the project that we're trying to still work on, getting the green screen and our webcam. The last donation that we got through PayPal that went towards that was the lights. So again, you know, that's still a thing. We just kind of we didn't hit a road bump. What's a redirection when it came to the Kratom thing, and so we really want to push this again. Folks, like I've said a million times, we don't just want people to give us money. That's not the way we roll. We want to work for it. We want to do something for it. And so, you know, merchandise is something that you just don't sell a whole lot of unless you find something where you get lucky that there's just a lot of business. But, you know, so every little thing that we can come up with that will help us provide ourselves with an income that especially we can put back into the show and put back into prepping, we're going to do it. And so, I think this Kratom venture is a really, really good idea. I really stand behind the Kratom. And so I'm thinking probably Friday we are going to be able to get that opened up. So the bag should be in tomorrow. We're going to be starting out with the 3 strains of Kratom, the Green Maned Red Bali, and Golden Elephant, and we will build from there. Our supplier carries 11 different strains, so I don't know if we'll wind up getting all 11 before it's all said and done, but we will be building up. I would recommend, if anybody is interested in wanting to start out, try the Green Mangda as far as your daytime, more energetic type of Kratom. Now for the nighttime Kratom, without a doubt, hands down, Golden Elephant. So that is like so incredible. I love Golden Elephant, my favorite. So anyway, Friday is when I'm targeting that to be opened. So we'll see how that goes. Again, the bags will be in tomorrow. I printed out labels today. I've got some Kratom here capsuled up, ready to go into packages. I got to get a little bit more capsuled yet of the different varieties. So it's nothing but a thing. It's just a matter. And I didn't get any more work done on the website today, on the Watchman News Health website. We're pretty much there. All I got to do is literally, I've got to add 2 more products. I've got to add a picture for the decal that I made up. That's pretty much it. Throw up an About Me page, or About Us page, I should say, and I'm going to throw up a little FAQ page, right? So that's pretty much it. It's really ready to go. So, and when that is good to go, again, I'm targeting Friday to open it up. Right here, you will see a button pop up that will say Kratom, and that will take you over to this site. So, anyway, that's what we've been focusing on here as of late. So, now that I got through all that stuff, and it's 17 after, let's talk about exercising that main muscle after I have a sip of coffee. So, in light of what I see going on around the world, I think it's time that we really start taking this serious. I don't know how much of what's going on is being just used as distraction. I don't know how much is really the real deal, but I know there's some very concerning things going on. Obviously, we've talked about Venezuela into the ground. I mean, you know what's going on, especially if you follow this channel. You know what's going on in Venezuela. You know that we heavily suspect something's going to pop up there soon. But now we've got a situation with Iran that seems to, and no pun intended, trump what's going on in Venezuela. The interesting thing is Mike Pompeo was in Finland, I think it was, to discuss things. Amongst those things was Venezuela, Iran, some other topics. And he wound up canceling it. He had a meeting with somebody else, and I can't remember. I actually think it's part of the headlines today. He had a meeting with somebody that he canceled so that he could get back to the United States. Okay? Now, who was it that just went? Hang on. Somebody just popped up today in... I don't think that was Bolton. I think that was Pompeo. But, yeah, Pompeo. So, this is kind of confusing. Unless I'm getting names wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Pompeo that was in Finland. But here's the thing. If he canceled a meeting that he was supposed to have because of some urgent matter, we have carrier groups right now heading to Iran. if they're not already there. I don't know if they're actually there yet. The rhetoric that I'm hearing is pretty serious. The games that they are playing in order to gain support, so to speak, to posture themselves in the manner that they are, is very telling. Right? They're inside sources of all this credible information about this attack or whatever. It's coming from Israel. I mean, come on. That would be like me telling you, oh, we're the best news organization there is. Okay, we're not. But it would be as goofy as me telling you that. It really would. Of course, Iran would like to see the United States Israel would like to see the United States run Iran into the ground. Of course they would. They've been getting the United States to fight their battles for them for decades now. So, we all know that this has been long part of the plan. Even since 2001, since before 2001, but especially since 2001, this has always been part of the plan. And Iran was one of the last countries that they knew that they would wind up dealing with. Well, now it looks like we've reached that point. Again, I'm going to bring up Russia and China. You know, you've got two large countries there that are completely fed up with the way that the United States has been acting around the world. You've got other countries that aren't very happy. France, Germany, just to name a couple more. So, I think it's probably wise for everybody, again, to exercise that main muscle, and I'm talking about the brain. And the manner in which I'm talking about exercising it, I would like to see everybody put some serious time in. Not 5 minutes of quick thought. No, some serious time. Spend yourself a few days thinking on this. I want you to think about what you are going to do initially within the first 24 hours after the balloon goes up. Again, I'm not talking about a light thought. I'm talking about step by step by step. And then, after you come up with those steps, start throwing kinks into your plans and figuring out ways that you are going to be able to adapt and overcome those kinks that come up in your plan. Please, I implore you to do this. Start out with the first 24 hours and build up to the first 72 hours. Exercise that muscle. I know the brain's not a muscle, I know, but exercise it. Okay? Know accurately, precisely. Now, don't put yourself in a position to where if you do have a kink in your plan, that's really going to screw everything up. That's why I'm saying, go through your plan in your mind, and then go back through throwing kinks in different parts of your plan, and figure out ways to adapt and overcome those hurdles. I cannot emphasize the importance of this anymore. It's what you do initially after that balloon goes up that's going to make the biggest difference in how you come out. You know, there's a lot of people that don't prep. I know they say the statistic is 3% of the people in the United States prep. I don't know how accurate that is. I have no idea. But let's just go with that number. It means 97% of the people out there don't prep. Now, that doesn't mean that 90% of the people in the United States don't have a damn thing. Okay? I would say probably at least half of those people have at least a week's worth of food or so in the fridge. Oh, they might be putting together some pretty, untasty things to have a meal. Okay, but I'm sure they can mix and match things and from their pantry and whatnot to at least get some calories in them, some protein. So you still are going to have a fair amount of people, though, that really don't have those items or don't have the skills to be able to just throw together random stuff from their pantry. Those are the people you're going to see after that balloon goes up run to the store. Now, some of those people are going to be going there in desperation. Some of them are going to be going there with a little bit more of a thought-out plan. Nevertheless, you do not want to be caught up in them. You don't want to be anywhere near that. I've read a couple of different novels, post-apocalyptic novels, to where that was kind of one of the first steps. After the balloon went up, they went to try to gather even more items, whatever they could get. A little more food, a little more this and that, batteries, I don't recommend that. I do not recommend that. You know what puts a big kink in your plan? A bullet in the head. It kind of screws your day up. It's not worth it. Get what you need or get what you can and have it now. Don't take that chance, because you can bet your butt that the majority of the people that you're going to find at stores after the balloon goes up are going to be people in desperation. Not all, but a good part of them. I guess you could ask yourself the old Clint Eastwood question, do you feel lucky? I don't think it's a good position to put oneself in. So go through these things, what you need to do. Throw as many kinks at it as you can. We've got a couple of options after the balloon goes up. Number one, sit tight. Right? Go ahead and start deploying things to aid in sound suppression, light suppression. Okay, so that others don't see and hear us. Okay, that's one of the things, if we just stuck around, that I would need to start doing immediately, right off. But mind you, and I've talked about this before, if you do this, right, if you start working on especially the light discipline immediately, try to do so in a manner that is not obvious. Okay? Don't just start grabbing 2x4s and nailing them up to the windows. I don't think that's a very good idea. Because at that point you're letting people know, number one, that somebody's in there, and number two, that there's probably something in there that somebody wants to keep. So keep that in mind. That's going to be important. If you're hunkering down, light discipline, sound discipline, hugely important. Our other option, of course, is to bug out. Now, we don't have some bunker somewhere. We don't have some bug out location. But being that I've lived around here most of my life, I do have a few different places in the back of my head that would be great places for Jen and myself to go. And I can pretty well guarantee we won't be found. So depending, and that's why I've constantly said, the most important information there is that last bit of information right before the balloon goes up, because that is the information that you're going to need to most accurately make your plan. Because no matter how in-depth your plan is now, the plan that I'm talking you to exercise in your mind, you're going to need to have yourself several options, as many options as which you can. So your final plan can't be made until that balloon already goes up and you know which way that you need to go. But that's why you want to do this mind work, so to speak, and have all these things thought through. You want to have all that out of the way so that when that balloon goes up, it's a matter of picking which plan for that particular situation. So it's very volatile what's going on right now. And again, there are several nations, large ones, that are pretty fed up. They're pretty fed up. The last quote-unquote chemical gas attack in Syria, I'm not sure how many people realize that Russia called that out like a month in advance, or might even been a few months in advance. They called it out. And they were calling out as they were setting up to do it. They called it out the entire time. They were calling it out. And then it happened. And before they could get in there to investigate anything, Trump launched Tomahawk missiles and destroyed the evidence. I'm telling you, these countries are onto it, and they're tired of it. How long were we fighting the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan? And, oh my goodness, it just seemed like we couldn't get anywhere. And a few years back, Russia got kind of fed up, and they stepped in. They got involved. Boy, it didn't take long for Russia to clean house, did it? Because Russia was actually trying to put it to an end. We weren't. Our government wanted that endless war, because then they can just keep passing that money around to their buddies. I'm telling you, we had more than one president warn us of the military-industrial complex, and it is a very real thing. And you are seeing it in full action right now with Venezuela, with Iran, with Syria. You're seeing it rearing its ugly head, and it's going to get worse. The longer we go without major conflict, it's going to get worse. If you can't tell, they are doing everything they possibly can to provoke another country into war right now. Everything they possibly can. That's why you need to be ready. You need to do those mental exercises. You need to know down to a T, again, with Kinkstone in, what you need to do, because that initial time is crucial. Absolutely crucial. Take this moment to highly recommend, and it's something we don't have, but I will take this moment to highly recommend you get a shortwave radio. Of course, you need communication devices for that. I recommend ham radios, even if you don't have a license. I recommend you have ham radios and you have some knowledge in operating those radios. Now, I do recommend, if you at all can, go get your ham license. I highly recommend that. But if for whatever reason you can't, or whatever the case, at least learn how to use the radio, know how to program in repeaters, know how to program the thing, period. know how to do that. Get yourself a list of different frequencies, but also a shortwave radio. The two are not one and the same. Also a shortwave radio. So that way you can get news from either here or abroad after the balloon goes up, provided that somebody is broadcasting. Highly suggest a shortwave radio. It's on my list. It's actually kind of up pretty high on my priority list. We just haven't been able to go there. So I do highly recommend that. Get your communications devices squared away. That's hugely important. I'm starting to see a lot of preppers really not making communication a priority, and that's crazy. That is one of your main priorities. You have to have that communication within your group. You have to. There's no other way. You have to. To think that you're going to be able to skimp out on communication and be effective is just absolutely goofy. That is a priority, a top priority. But you also need news coming in, information coming in, and that's why I say I highly recommend a shortwave radio. If you can't go out and buy some, couple $100 shortwave base radio that, to me, all that's goofiness, okay? If you can't do that, go out and get what you can. At least get something, no matter if it's the cheapest thing on earth, get it. At least you have something. I recommend, though, if you can do a little better than that, to do so. So there's a couple of radios I've been looking at. Oh gosh, I can't even remember the price of them off the top of my head. I think they're right around $100 or so on Amazon, and I can't remember the name. I'll have to dig them up and look. But I think they're around $100, and seem to be a relatively decent shortwave radio. They do a bunch of other stuff too. What I'm talking about does have a little solar panel on it. I believe it's got a hand crank on it. And it has a few other functions than just a shortwave radio, but it starts with a K, the name of the brand. But anyway, you need to work on this stuff. You really need to put it to the forefront, because I don't see us just walking away from everything that's going on without a major conflict. I just do not see it. No, it's not a Sea Crane radio. It's not a, give me just a second here. I had a couple of news things I got to get out real quick here. Well, at least I said real quick. Keurig. No, it's not a Cobra either. Give me 1 second here. I'll dig it up. I know I see Walmart selling it as well, but I think I've seen them on Amazon too, so. Okay, let me pull it up here. They're right here. Oh, like the KA500 Voyager. I really didn't want to click on that link. Let's see. There's I think there's a 900. KA900 radio. I think Amazon sells them. I think Walmart sells them. Here's the 900 here that I was talking about. So it does shortwave. This thing does quite a bit of stuff. It'll charge your phone, MP3 player, Bluetooth, AM/FM shortwave. It will do NOAA. So it seems to be, it's a hand crank. It's got a solar panel up top. Seems to be a relatively decent one. Like I said, $100, $99.98, and you do not have to go there and pay that kind of money. You don't have to do that. Okay? Let me repeat that. You don't have to do that. Okay? A lot of people think, well, oh my gosh, I can't afford that. I can't do anything because I can't afford that. Here's one for $25. Okay? So do what you can. Do what you can. $25 right there. Do what you can. But they do have another one here, a cheaper one. If you kind of like that, Kato is the brand, Kato. If you kind of like that, here's one right here. Again, it's got the solar panel, got the hand crank. It is a shortwave radio. The old dial type, which might be a better idea than a LCD, to be real honest. $49.99, $50. So, got a flashlight, reading lamp, cell phone charger, weather alert radio. Again, AM/FM shortwave. There you go, $50. So, information will be crucial. So, Kaito, Kaito. I have not had one of these. I have not held one in my hands. I don't know, but from the reviews that I've read, and I've read a lot of reviews on them, they seem to be a pretty solid device. So, the nicer ones I think come with either they come with an external antenna or the capability for an external antenna, aside from the telescopic antenna that you see right there. I'm talking about one of the wire antennas that you string up. So that's kind of, I think that was the reasoning behind me wanting that 900, was because the capability of having that external antenna. So anyway, hugely important. I think the different models are different colors. There's a lot of different models of these things. Let me throw this in Amazon, just Kato, K-A, and we'll see what we come up with. They got a black one here for $80, the 700 model, the KA 700. Here's a 500 here with for $50. It's black. So yeah, obviously, clearly they do. Here's a green one, the 600 model. So, oops, didn't mean to hit the mic there. So yeah, there are several options. I don't know, as far as like all the different color options. Here's a yellow KA 600. Just kind of, like I say, go to Amazon and if you will, use our Amazon link and type in Kaito, Kaito, and you can type in the letters KA. That's the beginning of the model numbers for their radios there. So, yep, like I said, Oh yeah. Well, I'm hoping the Kratom venture takes off, and this is pretty high on my list to get, and it will be going to the recommended section. Plus, I will be doing a review on it in the whole 9 yards. So again, we'll see. But yeah, I do need to get a section set up for these on the site. I will try to remember to do that. I do see here, it looks like they got different colors. They do, right here, for the KA500. You can, I'll give you guys, just in case you guys want the link. No, they're not, the only way they're going to be EMP proof is if you have them in some type of an EMP container before an EMP would happen. Aside from that, there is nothing out of the box that's going to be EMP proof, regardless of what different companies may tell you. So that's just kind of, it just kind of goes without saying. That's the link. That is one of our links, but that's the link to this particular page here. 4 different colors: black, blue, green, and red. $49.99 for, like I say, the KA500 model. And again, you don't have to pay a fortune. You don't have to have the very, very top of the line. Here's $170 C Crane radios. You don't need all that. If you can do it, if you've got the extra money and you're good to go on other stuff, go for it. I'm sure for certain reasons it's probably a little better radio, whether the circuitry in it's a little better made, or some of the functions, or the housing might be a little more durable, whatever the case may be. But it's not, if you have the choice of either waiting to get something to impress everybody with, and doing without, or getting something cheaper and having something, have something. Get something cheaper and have something. Because let me tell you what, that balloon goes up, ain't nobody gonna give a damn what fancy brand name is on your shortwave radio or anything else you have. Ain't nobody gonna care. That's a first world issue. Okay? That is entirely a first world issue, and I think a lot of people really overestimate this whole brand garbage. Okay? There's a lot of good products out there that are a lot cheaper that will work just fine. So, anyway, that would be my advice. If you don't have a shortwave radio, I would put that in your immediate plans. So, okay, so let me go ahead and read through the headlines and we'll get on with things. Guaido blames coup backers for failing to follow through in Venezuela. I don't know if I read that last night, but I had to chuckle when I read it because, what coup backers? They didn't back them. The people didn't back them, or else you would have seen them out in force. The people didn't back them. They don't want Guaido. They do not want him. I don't get how anybody could think anything else. Hang on. Multiple coup attempts, right? To where the people could have easily shown up in droves. In the tens of thousands or even more, right? And had their opportunity to get rid of Maduro. And they didn't come. Why? Because they don't want Guaido. They voted Maduro in, and regardless of how the United States wants to propagandize you with their media, the truth is the truth. They voted in Maduro. They want Maduro. You got to watch the media over here. They'll have you thinking that the sky is some kind of crazy turquoise or something. I don't know. This media and this government are ridiculous at this point. Don't pay any attention to them. Look at the obvious. Look at the obvious. Multiple coup attempts. The people of Venezuela did not show up to support those coup attempts. They didn't refrain from showing up out of fear, regardless of what some will tell you. They're not interested in Guaido. They're just not. The United States is interested in Guaido. At least 8 states now pushing to outlaw non-medical vaccine exemptions. How do you like them apples? Oh, and by the way, this comes just after Trump shows support for vaccinations. Red flag law, anybody? Because that's what happened with the red flag laws. He came out, talked in support of the red flag laws, and probably before the day was over, politicians were putting in legislation to enact the red flag laws in their states, and it's been widespread since. So don't be surprised if this starts to become a thing real quick. China says it will not join talks on trilateral nuclear disarmament. That should be something that you stick in the back of your head. Dashcam video obtained by News 4 shows an officer kicking a suspect in the head who has his hands up. Yeah, apparently I think he was the passenger in the car. I believe the car was stolen. I can't remember if carjacked was the term, but anyway, here's the thing, and I just commented on Facebook the other day about this. I've been watching the old TV series In the Heat of the Night on Amazon Prime while I go to bed. And it's kind of hard to go to bed because I really enjoyed that show when back when it was on, and so I find myself watching it more than I actually intended to, but whatever. And, you know, it's very telling of the stark differences between then and now. Back then, they had to remain absolutely professional in their job, because if they didn't, if they got out of line in the least bit, you could have had the charges dropped, and it was easy to do. If they roughed you up too much without due cause, your charges were as good as gone. Okay, stark difference from then till now. So, you know, I get it. A lot of people would say, oh, well, he was in a stolen vehicle, or was he fighting? Was he threatening or endangering that officer? You know, we can't just make every excuse that we can come up with to say it's okay to beat on citizens that aren't fighting. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. U.S. acted on vague Mossad tip-off when it sent strike group to Middle East. That's what I'm talking about a while ago, about you know, supposedly Israel is the one that has this information that Iran wants to attack the United States. So funny how that works. Old news, Iran mocks Bolton for using carrier deployment as psychological warfare. Yeah, because they were already, the carrier groups are already on their way that direction. So it's not like they're going out of their way or nothing. They were already headed there. Pompeo snubs meeting Merkel and Maas, citing unknown pressing issues. Now, okay, see, this is what I was talking about, and that just confirmed it. It was Pompeo. So Pompeo scrubbed this meeting because he had something too pressing and important to deal with. Today, he shows up in the Middle East, unannounced. So put that in the back of your head. Probably important. IMF chief warns U.S.-China trade spat poses threat to world economy. Phasing out the dollar, Russia significantly increases ruble share in export settlements with BRICS. Chicago now has a monument to a Holocaust accomplice, so where's the anti-Semitism outrage? Good question. It's a really good question. I think this whole statue outrage thing is outrageous in and of itself. I mean, come on. Need to get a grip, folks. There are things we really need to worry about. Serious things we really need to worry about. Not all of these stupid, goofy little social topics. Scientists develop breakthrough device that could end overprescription of antibiotics. That would be an incredible thing. That's what's got a lot of people in this country so weak, their immune system so weak, is the overprescription of a lot of different drugs, but namely antibiotics. Pakistan calls on Facebook to block anti-vax propaganda amid mass hysteria spate of gun attacks. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Now, mind you, you have to be discerning in this. You have to understand that in different places around the world, when they've gone in and done these vaccination drives, that it wasn't all what you were told it was. There are places to where they were doing mass sterilization. There were places that they were doing mass testing, and a lot of the test subjects were dying. A lot of that happened in Africa. A lot of it. Look into it. So I could see why Pakistan might be a little concerned. And again, I know they're doing it under the guise that it's, they're trying to eradicate polio. That's the guise they're using. But I would be suspicious of it in light of what's going on, namely in Africa. If you don't know about those atrocities, look it up. That was something that was heavily supported and funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. A battle between homeowner and HOA over truck could lead to foreclosure. You want to talk about out of control. So this guy likes classic cars, right? And he owns this truck, 1965 Ford F-250. And he owns a classic car business. And so anyway, I guess there is a rule within the HOA about vehicles with a lot of body damage can't be parked in the driveway. Well, that truck doesn't have body damage, by the way. It needs a paint job, but it does not have body damage. Actually, the body on that truck looks really straight. Well, anyway, I guess it's a thing now to leave your paint old like that. They call it patina. I guess that's a thing now. And so that's why he's not really shown any interest in painting a truck. Not because he isn't able to, but because I guess that's the end thing. And anyway, they're trying to force him to, get rid of the truck or whatever, park it in the garage, which he already has 2 vehicles in his garage. Anyway, there's a big fight over it. He may lose his home. Right now he's already got like $3,000 in fines, and he could lose his home. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Again, people are fighting about this first world stuff that's absolutely mind-blowing. But I bet you, these people that are bitching about this guy's truck, I bet you they don't have 90 days worth of food stored. I'll bet you anything they don't. It's crazy. People's priorities are way mixed up. Iran says creation of trade tool with Turkey and Russia to bypass U.S. sanctions is possible. Portuguese pilot shot down in Mirage jet by General Haftar's forces in Libya, says reports. We need to save his life. Pamela Anderson speaks of emotional visit to Assange in prison. I would much rather be reporting a better spokesperson. But it is what it is, and we do need to show support for Assange. So, but she went over there, she spoke with him, along with the WikiLeaks editor-in-chief. So, we do need to show our support. Let's not forget about Assange. U.S. and clients don't feel safe in Middle East because they're despised, says the Iranian foreign minister. French authorities granted access to psychiatric records to prevent terrorist radicalization. Panzer missile system shoots down 27 rockets during attack on Hymenium Center, and I have no idea how that's pronounced. No clue, but that's the Russian base. Videos show capture and questioning of Portuguese mercenary pilot shot down over Libya. Rebelling against globalism and a new world order doesn't make Farage an anti-Semite. I agree 110%. I agree. Just because Israel are the ones that are behind pushing the new world order, okay, and globalism, again, personally, I don't give a damn what label you want to put on me. I could care less. Because I'm not foolish enough to believe that label means anything. It doesn't to me. It might be, important to many others in society that puts labels before anything else. But I don't care. I'm going to keep on keeping on. I give a damn less what people think about me. It's not going to cause me to change my course one bit. You might get a couple of middle fingers, but that's about it. So, nah, we need to all be fighting this globalism. All of us. Nasty, nasty thing. A pregnant woman burned alive in India, allegedly by family opposed to her intercaste marriage. And I had to share the next article. I mean, it was literally, this next article was right after this article. You couldn't believe it. So, a pregnant woman, right, and her boyfriend get burned alive, right? Dead. Burned alive. Well, I think he's still holding on, barely holding on to his life, but the woman has died. The unborn child had died, of course. And then immediately after this, chasing world's largest consumer market, U.S. wants India to clear obstacles for American businesses. You know, United States are so immoral. Look at what Saudi Arabia is doing, but man, they just can't wait to do more business with Saudi Arabia. It's ridiculous. Sandra Bland's own cell phone video of 2015 Texas traffic stop surfaces. Very interesting. And I watched the video. It's like 39 seconds or so long. You know, it just kind of shows the beginning of the encounter. Not a whole lot to see there. However, it does support her story. So the family is actually trying to get this back in court. I do believe for criminal charges against the officers. Polish LGBT rights activist arrested for coloring Our Lady icon in gay pride rainbow. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. You know, I refuse to knock the Polish government for that. People need to be able to be safe and secure. Okay? And that includes gay people, non-gay people, right? Non-gay people don't need homosexuals to be in their face with everything. You gotta accept this. You gotta... No, you don't. People don't have to accept it. It's ridiculous. And I'm not, do what you're going to do. I'm not going to judge you. It's not in my job description to judge another. Just not in my job description. But you're not going to put something in my face and tell me I have to look at it. Screw you. I applaud the Polish government for doing something about this. It's ridiculous what the United States is allowed to be desecrated by small groups of people with loud voices. And it's not right. It's not right. Everybody deserves that same protection and that same respect. Homosexual individuals don't need to be under threat of non-homosexual individuals, that they're going to be sent off to some camp or something, some straight camp or some crazy crap like that. Okay, they don't need to be concerned with that type of nonsense going on. I mean, a little bit of respect both ways would be nice. But if the government wants to get in and regulate and protect something, then this is something they could do. Stop allowing people to force their beliefs on others, no matter what those beliefs are. It's a common courtesy. It goes both ways. It goes all ways. It's ridiculous. People shouldn't be able to force a particular religion on other people. People shouldn't be able to force non-religion on people. It's ridiculous. We need to be left alone, all of us, regardless of what our choices are. As long as they aren't directly, negatively impacting other people, then it's nobody else's business. That's why we need the Constitution back. That's why we need the Constitution back. A lot of things, a lot of problems kind of regulated themselves back in the day, right? Because you didn't get too far out of hand because you get knocked on your ass if you did, okay? And in most cases, that was rightfully so. So there was a respect. See, right now we don't have that respect in our society because the government will protect us in doing unjust things. It's a kind of a complicated situation. We need freedom, though. And people need the understanding of there's consequences to that freedom. The other thing people don't want today is responsibility for the consequences for their own actions. They want to be able to get out of those, and that's ridiculous. Georgia mayor says city isn't ready for black employee. Councilman agrees. This is part of what I'm talking about, right? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know? But this guy is protected by government. Okay? And I think he needs the holy hell kicked out of him, personally. But if somebody was to go and do that, they're going to get arrested for doing what is technically right, what this guy technically deserves. You know? Government defends the wrong people and prosecutes the wrong people. Let's see. Case closed. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says time to move on from Russiagate. I certainly hope so. War criminal. Outrage as Trump pardons former U.S. soldier who killed Iraqi prisoner. I don't know enough about this case to be able to comment on it either way. I really don't. And I'm not copping out of doing that. I have not looked into this. And I would like to. I think I'm going to. I do know that Roy Potter made a video last night. He was furious that the Congressional Medal of Freedom, I think is what it is, was awarded to Tiger Woods. Roy Potter was absolutely furious, and I echoed his sentiments. I was too, because it's bullshit. Obama wanted to constantly recognize these entertainers, which I thought was ridiculous. And now Trump wants to constantly recognize these athletes. Absolutely ridiculous. You mean to tell me that there's no more important people in this country than entertainers and athletes? That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. There's far more important things in this world than entertainment and sports. U.S. deploys 4 B-52 bombers in Middle East to counter purported Iran attack plan. Which makes you ask, what the hell are they supposedly planning? That they need, carrier strike groups. They need 4 B-52 bombers. What the hell were they supposedly planning? It's ridiculous. But that's why I was telling you, it's time to get mentally ready, folks. Making people pawns and hostages. UN rights expert slams U.S. sanctions war on Iran, Cuba, and Venezuela. I'm not a supporter of the United Nations, but it's important to know that their sentiment against the United States is not too great right now. It's an important thing to note. Pompeo arrives in Baghdad for surprise visit amid U.S.-Iran tensions. See, just like pops up there, and yet he had to cancel a meeting because of something urgent. Well, now he's in the Middle East. I'll let you connect the dots. 2 injured, 2 arrested in Colorado school shooting. There wasn't a lot about this when I put it out there, so let's open it up and see if there is anything more. Yes, actually there is. At least 7 people were injured in a shooting at a charter school in Highland Ranch, Colorado, a suburb of Denver. All local schools in the county are on lockdown as the authorities are searching for a possible third suspect. Multiple people were shot at the K-12 STEM school on Tuesday afternoon, according to the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. Police are currently searching for the school classroom by classroom for the tentative third suspect. So apparently they've got 2 for sure suspects. Possibly there is a third. There are 8 victims, of which 4 are in serious condition and 2 others stable, according to KMGH Denver. The condition of the remaining victims is unknown. This is still an active shooter situation, Under Sheriff Holly Nicholson-Cluth told reporters, adding that 2 suspects are in custody. Multiple air ambulances. Hang on. Multiple air ambulance helicopters were spotted landing on the school grounds. Okay, that is all there is on that. Sorry about all the barking. There's And let's see, the one thing I tweeted out a little bit ago was Twitter suspends more conservative and pro-Trump accounts, prompting new accusations of censorship. And I do see a number 3 up there. Let me see if anything's important. No, I don't see anything. So let me go ahead and wrap up the monologue, and we'll get on with the rest of the show. For those here for the live show, we will be live till 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is just how we close the monologue every day. For those that just watched the monologue or you're watching the recording thereof, thank you very much. As always, God bless you, we love you, and be one with your spirit.